Very good morning to you. Welcome to the Morning Brief right here on Channels Television. We're bright and early. And of course, from the nation's commercial nerve center, which is our global headquarters right here on Channels Television. I'm Jeffrey Uzoma.
And we're upbeat as well. So if Thursday we're a mile in a marathon, we're very near the finish line. It's Thursday, of course, the 14th of August, 2025. Welcome to your perfect morning starter, where the race is meaningful and beautiful. I am Bukola Koka.
Well, it drizzled this morning, a little bit of a shower of blessings. We're not sure where this rain is going. We're supposed to have August break, but it looks like the August is not breaking anytime soon. So we may be waiting on September to see what plays out. But let's bring you one of the things we've been tracking, Bukola, and that has to do with the decision of the federal government to say for the next 7 years. So this is 2025, so that will be 2026, 27, 28, 29, 30, maybe 2032, that until 2032, there should be no new federal universities being created because of duplicity, multiplicity of university. This university not properly funded, issues around infrastructure, issues around quality of education, and all whatnot. And I think to a very large extent, I kind of agree. But this is a policy of the federal government led by the APC. So if they are no longer in power for whatever reason, maybe they lose an election, we don't know what's going to happen. But they've said, look, as far as this is concerned, I think we need to take a pause, a necessary pause at that sector, and maybe sit back, look back a bit to see the ones we have, how well equipped are they in terms of infrastructure, in terms of laboratories for those who are doing the sciences, in terms of content of curriculum. So I'm sure they want to look at the entirety of it. Whatever it is done now without looking at curriculum, I think we'll just be missing out on an opportunity. So we do not expect the president to name any institution. In fact, there are so many institutions in Nigeria, even specialist institutions that people are not aware of, from maritime to aviation to, it just looks like it's political patronage in some of these institutions. But, well, that's the decision of the federal government, Bukola.
Well, the federal government, through the Minister of Education, Dr. Tunji Alausa, did give reasons that are quite compelling. I wonder if that soundbite is ready so we can listen to him. But here's what he said, which, you know, the National Assembly should particularly reflect on. He says that about 199 universities received fewer than 100 applications. That is, you know, students expressing desire to go to a particular university. For 199 of them, in the tally put together by the government, they received fewer than 100 applications from the Joint Admissions and Matriculations Board last year, with 34 recording 0 applications. And that's quite telling. He went further to say that of the 295 polytechnics nationwide, he said many had fewer than 99 applicants expressing interest in attending or acquiring their university education from those institutions, while 219 colleges of education also posted poor enrollment figures, including 64 colleges of education having no applications at all. So we should place this before the National Assembly that has a penchant for, you know, approving legislations for the establishment of new universities. And beyond the challenge of infrastructure, we should also be looking at the universities that we have in the first place that are constantly, you know, on strike for reasons of remuneration, infrastructure, lack of development in the infrastructure in the universities. So the National Assembly should reduce its appetite for the establishment of universities going forward. But more importantly, beyond the reasons put forward by the federal government that we should be reflecting on, is the consistency of this policy disposition. You recall the age limits placed on university on admission of students into university by the last administration. This particular, Federal Ministry of Education under Dr. Tunji Alausa has reviewed that. And that's the challenge, really, of policy implementation. Consistency is such that we can have stability. But we should reflect on the need to fund the universities that we have in the first place, without adding to the burden of wage bill that the federal government is already, challenged with by ensuring that there's stability in those institutions such that, students can have seamless experience in their, tertiary education instead of adding to that burden. So those really are the issues. And it's also interesting to note that the minister had said that the universities already established that have become an act under the law may not necessarily see the light of day, because the president has given the go-ahead for a review of the guidelines establishing those universities. Right. So a good one that has come through.
Let's take a listen. Let's take a listen to the minister now.
The shocking data that we're seeing today, we have 199 universities that less than 99 candidates apply to seek to go to those universities. In fact, 0 candidates applied to JAM to go to 34 universities. Collectively, between 0 to 99, universities that had less than 100 candidates applying, 199. For polytechnics, we had 295 polytechnics, federal, state, and private, that had less than 99 people applying, choosing them as a choice for candidates to go there. For colleges of education, we had 219 colleges of education, federal, state, and private, that had less than 99 candidates choosing them via the JAM portal. In fact, 64 colleges of education had 0 candidates choosing them. So if we want to improve the quality of our tertiary institution and not be a laughing stock across the world, the FEC decision today is the most pragmatic and the best for our educational system, for our tertiary educational system, so that we can sustain the respect that the world has for us.
There you have it. The desire to attend a university as expressed by students is not often informed necessarily by the presence of the university, perhaps in their locality. If you reflect on the continuing establishment of universities, the approval given to it more often than not by the National Assembly. But let's go to another item that we have for you that has come through. But first of all, we have our question of the day. Jeffrey.
Before we get to the question of the day, let's talk about remind the people that they have a responsibility to now, for those who haven't registered, INEC is starting continuous voter registration on the 18th. So everybody who is now an adult eligible to vote, you can now get involved in that entire process. It's your civic responsibility to participate as far as INEC registration is concerned. And if perhaps you have issues with your voter card and all of that, I'm sure this is one of those moments. Anything that has to do with it. I'm trying to get to the very website, the directory. Okay, I think I have it now. So all you have to do, because they've modernized this thing, that according to the Commission, online pre-registration will open on August the 18th via a dedicated portal. And the dedicated portal is cvr.inecnigeria.org, cvr.inec.nigeria.org rather, for pre-registration activities. So please, if you haven't registered, you are perhaps when the last ones were done, you were not an adult yet, now you're up to 18 years old, now you are eligible to vote in any election at the federal, at the state level. As a matter of fact, 48 hours from now, we'll be seeing by-elections in senatorial district, 2 of them, and 9 federal state constituencies, I think about 6 or 5 federal constituencies. But you can't, if you don't have a voter card, you can't participate in any of this election. So this is a reminder that this is your civic responsibility. Seize this opportunity. These are issues of laws and guidelines. This gives you eligibility to be able to vote. So ensure you participate as far as this is concerned. Bukola?
Yes, indeed. You know, this elicits memories of the last continuous voter registration exercise in 2022, which, you know, particularly received a groundwell of support from young Nigerians who wanted to participate in the 2023 elections. It was a very distressing exercise when you recall the crowds that surged, you know, to centers for registration, and a lot of complaints trailing the exercise from, you know, complicity of INEC officials who compromised the system by, you know, trying to get, you know, some form of inducement from those who are desperate to register, you know, to inadequacy of staff who are manning those centers for, you know, the continuous voters registration exercise. So this is another litmus test for the level of preparedness for INEC, such that we do not see a repeat of the 2022 experience. But are Nigerians optimistic that this will be a seamless exercise and INEC will show some form of competence this time around? The exercise starts on the 18th, well, for online registration, and then in-person registration will start on the 25th. But we hope that there will be a remarkable improvement this time around in the exercise. But let's get to our question of the day.
Absolutely.
This time,
so,
we have, you know, one that, you know, continues a conversation in the last 48 hours. So here it is, the Kwam and Comfort saga. Does FG's intervention send the right or the wrong signal? Yes, I'll take that again. The Kwam and Comfort saga. Does FG's intervention set the right or wrong signal? Recall that charges have been withdrawn against the Ibom air passenger, Comfort Emerson, you know, following the intervention of the federal government through the Minister of Aviation and Aerospace Development, Mr. Festus Keyamo, who announced that decision on his X handle earlier on yesterday. And of course, the discontinuing of charges against the Fuji musician, King Wasiu Ayinde Marshall. And so, of course, a flurry of reactions have trailed this on X. So we're going to aggregate and give you another opportunity to speak to this intervention by the federal government. So there you have it. You can send us your contributions on X, and of course to our WhatsApp channel, and also to our email. And you have them on your screen. Yeah.
Absolutely. So remember, people have interpreted it differently. Both passengers, reckless, irresponsible, recalcitrant behavior. One was whisked away, bundled out. Maybe some people say indignified or dehumanized. Well, she also was a bit reckless in her attitude, assaulting as many people as she could assault. Well, it ended up that she was arrested, detained, and until she was waiting for her to fulfill her bail condition. Well, for Kwam, also reckless, irresponsible, recalcitrant behavior, went to stop a moving aircraft, putting himself and every other person who was trying to stop him in danger. Well, at the end of the day, he wasn't arrested, he wasn't bundled away, he wasn't detained, he wasn't charged. Just a criminal complaint by the NCAA. But I must give commendation to the Honorable Minister, who has been alive to his duty at every point in time. His decision, you may agree or disagree with it, but he's been speaking out, identifying the dramatic personnel, and making sure that everybody gets a piece of the pie in terms of reprimand. But this is where the question is. Was Kwam treated because he's a name or he has connection to power? And because the girl, she doesn't know anyone. So the issue of, you know, class society, the issue of rule of law is now in question. It is a real test of this government's ability to manage the rule of law and how people are treated, whether you have a name or a surname, or you're powerful or you're not powerful. You know the verdict already. So that's what we're asking you. Since this happened, Kwam did not even find himself in any detention, arrested, or anything. But the girl has had her own experience. So this intervention by the federal government to say, okay, everybody has messed up. Let's pull back. Let's withdraw this. Does this send the right signal or the wrong signal? That's why we're asking that question today. Bukola, what's the highlight for today?
Quite a lot, but
there's a lot to unpack. It can never be over.
I wish we could capture all of the developments that have trailed this, because besides of FG's intervention, there have also been interventions that have come the way of Ms. Comfort Emerson. If you consider reports.
Well, I did not want you to go there. Don't go there.
She's been offered employment, in Delta State by the assistants to the governor in that state on social media, I believe, with 500,000 naira monthly, and a free trip to Delta State to experience Delta State and free lodging, and she's been promised a good time by the.
Was that sarcasm? Or was it real?
Well, yeah,
Are you sure
if you go to the verified social media account of the governor's assistant, you find all of the promises there. So there's no sarcasm here. This is a capturing of the promise that has come the way of Ms. Emerson. Of course, she's also been given an automatic role in a Nollywood movie by a Nollywood director. So you could also weigh all of that in and wonder how the system rewards unruly behavior. Well, you also have to capture in all of the circumstances that have informed the conduct as well. But to help you in your responses to our question of the day today.
We'll give you context. But I really did not want you to go there this morning. But Bukola has actually gone there. So what we've seen played out, unfortunately, before our very eyes is that if you're powerful, you're treated differently from when you're not powerful. I think that's a fact. From this incident. It's not as if it's new. It's nothing new to us. But that intervention is what we're asking, whether it's sending a right or a wrong signal. But Bukola, we're going to talk about this issue today. So we'll be joined by the lawyer to Ms. Emerson on the program today, who will be bringing us up to speed as to, of all the things we've heard, we have not heard from the girl. We've heard it from everybody else. But ourselves, we haven't heard from her at all. So our lawyer will be joining us. We thought she would join us, but she's still under medicals and all of that, so she couldn't join us. So our lawyer will be joining us as well on the program, as well as a passenger who witnessed this incident live and direct, who is also a legal practitioner, will be joining us on the program.
Man, we're big on the aviation security matter and its implications, so we'll have also more reactions coming through from a former legislator who will also be speaking to other, issues of public concern, the by-elections coming through on Saturday, and the implications for legislative oversight should the ruling party secure majority from this election. It only needs about 3 more senators in the All Progressives Congress to secure a majority at the upper legislative chamber. And of course, he'll also be speaking to the state of things in the opposition party, the People's Democratic Party. So Honorable Dachung Bagos joins us today, a former federal legislator.
Okay, so, Bukola, I was just wondering when I saw the logo of the parties. So before now, we used to just see APC, PDP, and Labour. ADC has found its way in the big boys league. Anyway, okay, let's come back. So in just a moment, we'll bring you the dailies. Adeni Ifetayo, our guest, a public affairs analyst and a journalist, will be joining us in just a moment for you to find out what the dailies are saying on the front pages. Stay with us. Welcome back. We're just chit-chatting about a few things. But let's bring in Adeni Ifetayo. Mr. Adeni, welcome to the program.
Yes.
Let me look through. I want to look through. Okay.
Thank you.
I wanted to be sure that was part of what we have. But let's get through to the Nigerian News Direct, which is what we started off from. Tinubu bans creation of new federal private universities for 7 years. Oh, I didn't even know private were part of it. Okay. As Minister laments poor quality of infrastructure, most improved quality of education. So question is, now that I'm seeing that there's private university, I don't know whether you can do that. Okay, so of course you get approval from the federal government for you to establish. But what do you make of this decision? Good? Timely? Or what exactly is it?
I would say it's timely because so many people, especially the private individual, they want to have the name, I own a university, no infrastructure on ground, you know, sometimes even public university, you heard that federal government, they are hoeing and all of that. And some of these, there's what they call BYI, that bring your own infrastructure, you know, and they put the burden on the students, you know, who are there because some lecturer, they are poor remunerated. They began to sell, what's it called, handouts now, or if you don't buy, you use it to get a mark and all of that. So it has polarized our education system, and like they said, education is the best legacy. So if you are not giving it our best, I don't think shunning out a new university will be the way forward, and not just infrastructural development, human capacity development, train the trainer, because a lecturer who is not well remunerated, I'm not sure is going to give his or 100%, you know, to these the people we call our future's leader. So I think it's timely, but not just to ban them. What are you doing to improve the one on ground, especially the public university? I just said now that private institution too, they are also involved. You know, yeah, there are some guidelines. How much are you going to be investing or putting into this system, maybe every year or biannual or once in 3 years? There's a specific amount of money you must spend or train and all of that. So I think all those things should be put in place, not just let's stop you know, giving approval for establishing new university.
And, you know, I can't resist it, Mr. Ifetari. Before we go to the other paper, at the bottom of Nigerian News Direct, you know, there's a trail on part of our conversation this morning, which is our question of the day. Mixed reactions as NCA withdraws charge against Kwam1. Emerson names Kwam1 ambassador, and you know, of course, that has drawn a flurry of reactions as you know, part of the continuing concern that this is apart from selective justice, but also you know, selective discriminatory handling of the matter. But shouldn't the system also look back at itself if we consider the consequence of what has happened from you know, the rewards that has gone the way of Ms. Comfort Emerson herself, automatic employment in Delta State, you know, a role in a Nollywood movie. Isn't this a product of a broken, not just a broken political culture, but socio-economic, socio-cultural, you know, system as well?
Yes, I believe 100%. You know, the way we reward some maybe unruly behavior or something that happens, somebody should be questioned or face the consequence. You know, just like you commit the crime, you face the time or the consequence. So it's just the way the federal government handled the whole scenario is not cool. You know, I said it on Monday that don't be surprised if you check the clips. I said Kwam1 is going to be made a kind of brand ambassador because maybe he has somebody to call to speak on his behalf, and Comfort on his own side, because federal government hands are tied because someone had, you know, committed something, you know, liking to that. But what I would have expected the federal governments to do is to continue with the case instead of dropping the charges. Let them face the music so that it will serve as a deterrent. So now it's just creating that we have a double standard in administering justice in our society. One, if you are well connected, you can call someone. There's a way you'll be treated. And the other one, if you are not well connected, there's a way you'll be treated. But it's just pity that Nigerians that rose up in defense of Comfort, they are even the one that saying, come, we'll give you this, we'll give you that. That shouldn't be celebrated. Let's call a spade a spade.
Let's go to the Nigerian, the New Telegraph now, and the New Telegraph chooses to, you know, report the polity as far as politics is concerned. The New Telegraph, the big story here says 2027, PDP demands absolute loyalty from Wike, Tom, Fayose, others, and says those planning to leave may be going on voyage of no discovery. APC tackles Aregbesola over ADC membership drive in Lagos. So is this, you know, this ADC drive, is it unsettling the ruling party and the opposition party?
Of course, but to me, I'm not sure PDP are ready. You know, if someone is a storm you know, in your water or in your river, I think the best thing is to ease such an individual out. So still massaging their ego, you need them, you need them. They've done, don't let me say, allegedly, they've done harm, done good for PDP especially. So why do you continue to massage or pat them at the back? You know, if you are serious with what is coming in 2027, of course, the coalition ADC is beginning, both the opposition and the ruling party is beginning to unsettling them. You can, just like you mentioned, they are calling Aregbesola to order, and I'm sure he's old enough to make up his mind what he wants to do. He has been a governor, he has been a minister, he was once a commissioner, so what are we talking about? So he knows what he wants. So let everybody choose what they want to do, where, thank God, is enshrined in our constitution, freedom of association, or whether you want to belong to this and that. So let's see how it plays out, but I felt that PDP, they are not ready yet.
I totally agree with you. So personally, when I hear PDP make strong statements, I don't take it serious. We will deal with you, deal with them, let's see. We will not tolerate, let's see. Now they're saying, demand, come on, man, take action, else you're just wasting everybody's time. The Guardian, FG to overhaul public finance as bills for more varsities risks rejection. FG to overhaul public finance as bills for more varsities risks rejection. That's on the page 6 of the Guardian newspaper. And you can see all the persons that have the powers to make the moves, from the president to the finance minister to the education minister to the leadership of the National Assembly, talking about these issues about overhauling finances as bill for more investment risks. So what do you make? I know we've spoken about it in the other papers, but this is the reason why we need to re-highlight this is because they say education is the backbone, it's the cornerstone of any society.
Yeah.
In fact, lack of education, poorly educated people are easily manipulated. So what do you make of this?
Two things for me. If every year we do have a budget for this ministry, that ministry, especially for education ministry. So what I felt that the federal government should have be doing now is to set up an a private or independent panel to be looking at how much have we expended, especially in public university. As the money released, has it been used? You know, what are the measures? You know, we say we are going to build this infrastructure. What level has it gone to? How much has been released so far? Where is that money going to? I was having a chat with someone yesterday that said they will collect. We're talking about, was it last week? The doctor that this federal government said we're going to pay you your 6-month arrears, that somebody will have that money, put it in a fixed deposit, yielding interest. So where did money go to? Who is doing what? Those are the things I felt that if they want to be transparent when it comes to financing education infrastructure. So those are the areas that they should look at. What are they putting more? I think I'm not sure now the percentage that the education sector had in the 2025 budget. I think if they can up it a bit and put more training into it, there can be an exchange program. 100 of our during break, during summer, like the 100 of our lecturer or head of department, they are going for training in India, or instead of spending so much, bring those people, because it will reduce cost. You know, when you are talking about the ESTA code and all of that, bring them here, let them exchange idea, and so that they'll be prepared for when the new session resumes. So those are the areas they should look into and be transparent when it comes to release of funds.
Yeah, that's looking at it holistically. What happens to those structures of those new universities if they have already been established? So let's go to the Nigerian, this Nigeria. It doubles down, of course, on the concern raised by the federal government through the Minister of Education yesterday. But let's look at the top of the nameplate, just beside the nameplate of this Nigeria. Economic reforms. President targets 7% growth rate by 2027. It's a page 5 read, by the way. But, well, Mr. Fetayo, how realistic is this economic growth rate target when you consider concerns that, you know, for 2024 budget, there hasn't been 100% budget performance recorded so far. And you heard the Governor of Bauchi State saying the other day that even for 2025 budget, funds have not been released, that there is no economic activity. So is this realistic in the light of the circumstances?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure. There's an adage in Yoruba land. Let me say it in Yoruba. I'll try to interpret it. Yes, if I promise to give you something good, something fantastic, at least you need to look at me if I'm worth of doing that. So if you said you are talking about 7%, 2024 budget has not been 100% implemented, and 2025, the governor of Bauchi, who is one of the critical stakeholders when it comes to budget implementation, because he has a state to govern, is saying that even money has not been released and all of that, and you are telling me you are going to build a castle in the air for me, is unrealistic. I believe that for you to say this, they should come up with a number. Oh, when we came in on board, it was 1%. From that 2023 to 2024, we've been able to do ABC, is now 2%. Going by this number, we believe in 2025 or 2026 election year, we are going. Then you are talking not just to promise, just like you are going for campaign.
All right, so let's go to the Vanguard newspaper. I wanted to stay on that bit, but we'll leave that, because when you talk about productivity, we have to look at productivity to be able to know whether this it's great to be ambitious.
Yes,
but ambition is, we're doing 3 point something now. If you analyze last year, about 3 point something, we're projecting 3 points or 3.4 this year. Let's see what plays out next year. So 2027, I don't know what they are looking at, but you have to look at technology in terms of scalability of the people themselves and infrastructure, especially power. Those are fundamentals to drive productivity and growth in this sense. But Vanguard newspaper, Kwam 1, Comfort Bob. I almost say Kwam B. Forgive me. It's because that influenced me. Kwam 1, Comfort Bob. Lawyers, aviation experts blast FG. The riders say due process not followed in resolving incidents. Accused Keyamo of interference with NCCA affairs. Comfort freed. Kwam 1's ban cut to 1 month. Asks Ibom Air to withdraw case against her. Life no-fly ban lifted. Directs NCAA to withdraw criminal case against Kwam 1. Regulatory agency to release licenses of value jet pilots after 1 month. So this is going to be a talking point. As I said, the minister has identified dramatic personnel and reprimand. I believe as well, without defending him, that if the airport authority had done their work well, he doesn't have a business intervening at all. Because when you are over-respecting Kwam 1, who was reckless, irresponsible in his behavior at that time, putting himself in danger, and everybody that was stopping him in danger, if you had simply bundled him, charged him and all of that, this man may not, because until he spoke, that things started moving in that sense and all of that. That's why he was very fierce as well. See the airport incident with the Bob, also reckless, irresponsible behavior by the lady, no matter what you were provoked at, although it's very unacceptable to have exposed that the way they exposed that. But she was also really assaulting people on the craft, down, inside the bus. You see the way they were swift as well. So do you think that you will really blame the man for intervening when the people that are supposed to act were just not acting the way they should act?
Not really. You know, sometimes they will say we are waiting for God at the top. You know, when you don't know your duty, that and if it involves an individual who is well connected or famous, and calls, I'm sure calls will have been flying up and down and all of that. But I felt that usurping the duties of those who are under your ministry is not telling well, because NCA is supposed to do their job, and excuse me, the security at the airport, and of course I'm sure they have all learned their lesson and to prevent future occurrences. So let's see where it takes us. And I hope somebody will not do it next time and say, if I can have somebody there, I'm sure I'm going to be pardoned. I will get a pardon.
That is why we're asking the question. Bukola, about the signal. What signal has this sent?
And of course, we can also talk about...
And of course, the international community too will be looking at the whole thing, that we are not handling stuff. And I read a report that said that Nigerian aviation is one of the respected aviation in the world. But doing this now, it also calls for questioning to reduce our standard.
And I was just going to, add to part of the conversation, the concern coming through from, those who are reacting to it, particularly online, that even though the charges have been dropped on both sides and, the federal government's intervention is quite telling on a lot of levels, what about the treatment meted out on Ms. Comfort Emerson? Recall that the pilots of ValueJet got their own fair share, and in fact, even though the licenses have been withdrawn, have been restored until they complete the necessary reappraisal. But the staff of Ibom Air, many are saying that they also deserve some form of punishment. What are your thoughts on that because of the treatment meted out on Ms. Comfort Emerson, which borders on abuse of human rights? Yes,
because the government intervened, the federal government intervened, so it did not allow, you remember the NBA too, they came up that we're going to defend and all of that. I'm sure those are the things that will have brought to bear, but because they were not mentioned, no sanction for them, and no pardon for them. So since there was no sanction for them, so there's no need to talk about maybe restoring them, but since they've said they will all go for appraisal, training and retraining, just like I was saying, even in our education sector, I don't know when some of our lecturers have gone for or retraining a kind of a thing. So let's just leave it, since the federal government have intervened and they've all brought everybody back to the table.
At the end of the day, I think the least that can be done by Ibom Air, whether they are the ones that release that video or not, is to publicly apologize to that lady. Because what was filmed was an action that was taken on their aircraft. So if an action, of course, they were trying to get her out for her misconduct. Nobody supports that kind of behavior, no matter how you were provoked. But the way they pulled her out and finally got her exposed, and it was now all over the place. The least that airline, which is a pride of Akwa Ibom and Nigeria by extension, should do is not private apology. It's to publicly apologize to this girl, because now a life ban has been lifted, her dignity is in ruins. Nobody can take what is all over the place. Some people have saved it on their phone.
In Nigeria, they say whoever goes to the police station will get justice first. Whoever goes to the police station first might get justice. Because immediately it happened, Ibom here went to press charges and all of that. So it's just... but I felt that they should apologize.
Yeah, in the spirit of this resolution, they should publicly apologize to her for that indecency. Adeni Ifeta, thank you so much for coming on the program. We always appreciate your insight on this conversation, helping us to look at the headlines. But hey, we are just getting started. Our first conversation will be with the lawyer to Ms. Comfort Emerson. We were thinking we would get Ms. Comfort, but apparently she's not in a good place psychologically to join us. So our lawyer is here to give us our own side of the story. I said, we've heard everybody. We've not heard from Comfort. She says she will speak out later, but for now, our lawyer will speak on her behalf. And after the lawyer, we'll be joined by a passenger who was sitting right around that row, who witnessed firsthand. He will tell us what he knows. We can speak about it because cases have now been withdrawn, so it's not prejudiced anymore. Join us again.
Welcome back. So we're not quite done with matters arising from aviation security following events of Kuam 1 and, of course, Kuam 2 saga. If you like, Ms. Comfort Emerson and her fist-off or interface with staff of Ibom Air. So let's find out Ms. Comfort Emerson's side of the story. Of course, she was released yesterday from Kirikiri following the federal government's intervention, and we saw her following her release. There have been videos online of herself and her friends. We've particularly also heard from her through her socials. She says she's still down at the moment, thanking all her supporters, for coming through for her during her ordeal, and that she will come with her own side of the story later on. But let's hear a bit of it through her lawyer. Her lawyer joins us virtually on the program today, and she is Barrister Adefunke Maria. Barrister Adefunke, thank you so much for joining us on the morning brief.
Thank you so much, host. Good morning. Thanks for having me.
For starters, let's check on your client. Following her release yesterday, what's her state of mind and how is she faring currently before we get into what exactly transpired on the 10th of August?
Well, she's in good shape and she just needs to rest. She when she was brought in yesterday, she was actually tired and weak. So, but we thank God now, she's in good spirits. So, having gone home, having rested well, so I believe she will be fine. She will be fine. She will be fine.
Now let's explore the events of August the 10th. What we saw initially before other videos began flooding social media platforms was Ms. Comfort Emerson being prevented from coming out of the aircraft, and then later on we saw how she was dragged out of the aircraft, and the treatment meted out on her, her dignity compromised. But we now saw later on a video where she was appealing to the air hostess, I believe Juliana Edward or so, to allow her pass. So help us understand what exactly happened inside the aircraft prior to this series of events.
What actually happened at the aircraft? Firstly, the airport authorities released video that will exclude them from liability. They actually released the video of what they want us to believe. That was not exactly what happened right inside the aircraft, because witnesses are coming forth, people are coming forth and see I sat beside Comfort. That was not exactly what happened. What exactly happened, like our client made us verily believe, was that she was told to switch off her phone. She said at the point of boarding, her phone was already on airplane mode. And then the aggressor came, the air hostess, the aggressor came, and then she was speaking to her rudely. I said, you should off your phone now, and you have to do it now. And then she was like, my phone is already on airplane mode before I boarded the plane. So I guess that didn't go well with the air hostess. Let me not use another word. With the air hostess. So, and then she was like, I don't even have time for your nonsense. And then, it was just, she was practically speaking to Comfort in the most rudest manner. You don't speak to a customer that way. And of course, Comfort being human, she was angry. She was angry, and then she kept narrating the incident to the next passenger. That just look at how this woman is talking to me and all that. So I guess what Comfort was saying didn't still sit well with the woman, and then at the point of disembarking, when others were leaving, of course they were leaving roll by roll. So when it was Comfort's turn to leave, the woman blocked her. I learned she was pushed aside for other passengers to pass, and other passengers were wondering, why was she still in the aircraft? The woman blocked her way. She vehemently refused Comfort to disembark from the flight. And of course, that was what escalated the matter. Comfort was insisting, why are you holding me back? I have to go. So from there, the woman actually used her veto power, being the air hostess, and then she thought she was in absolute authority and she has high degree of anyhowness. to start harassing a passenger that way. We condemn the airport action in totality. Comfort was treated in the most rudest, the most degrading manner. Those actions were not relevant. They were not necessary. That was an infringement on our rights. You don't hold a passenger like that. You don't hold a passenger down like that. You don't provoke a passenger, you know, to act in such a way, and then at the end of the day, you made it look as though she was the aggressor. No. Forget about the video they are releasing and about what they want us to believe. So, that's not true. Look at, just imagine. Just imagine. It was shown in the video that air hostess willfully ripped off her blouse. It was shown in the video. So, she was standing, yes, she was standing at the right side of the aircraft, you know, while the security was malignantly comfort. She ripped off her blouse. I don't know if you can zoom that video and watch it slowly. So Barrister Maria, two questions in one. Was there any time, because there are some accounts to the effect that prior to the time when Comfort approached the exit of the aircraft, that she was pushed down into the chair by staff of Ibom Air, and at a point she was slapped. Help us establish whether that is true or not. And at the time that she wanted to exit the aircraft, we can see that she was still wearing her white jacket. She was fully dressed.
At what point was that white jacket taken off? Did she take it off by herself, or she was stripped of her white jacket as well as her inner wear?
Of course, during the struggle, the jacket she had on must have pulled off. During the struggle. In the video, you can see some men, you know, trying to overpower her where she was sitting. She was struggling to get up. And then the men came. And I wonder, why will men of the aviation, of Ibom Air Aviation Authority be treating a lady that way? Aren't there female securities? Are there not female securities at the airport? If she doesn't want to get down, get the female securities. Let them come. So it was during the struggle. Comfort was properly dressed. Comfort was properly dressed. She had a jacket on. She had her wig intact. So that is not the no. It was during the struggle. Her jacket, of course, her jacket removed. Her blouse was torn. Was she slapped? Well, they only released the video they want everybody to believe. They only released the video that will exclude them from liability. Was she slapped? I wouldn't doubt that. I wouldn't doubt that, because the video clearly exonerates the aggressor.
Was she slapped?
That video clearly exonerated that woman. We didn't see, you know, the altercation that actually happened. The words the woman was saying to her. Was the video released? No.
Okay, so let's walk back a bit. Let's step back, because what we're dealing with here, as far as now, there seems to be a resolution. I can see the passion in your voice and the anger and all of that, and this borders primarily on the dignity of a person, which is protected by Section 34 of the Constitution. Everybody's entitled to that dignity. You're a lawyer, you're way familiar than me. But let's walk back from the stories we've read. All of this fundamentally has to do with switching on or switching off of phone. From the accounts we've heard from different people. So help us. What we heard was that she uses an iPhone. She's not familiar with how the button is being switched off, which is why there were delays. So help us break that down. Is that what happened? Is it that she didn't understand how to switch off the phone, or she blatantly refused to obey the instruction?
No. Comfort didn't blatantly refuse to obey instruction. Her phone was already on airplane mode. She was told to switch off. The woman was standing right there. And then, you know, she was struggling. She was actually struggling to put off the phone. It wasn't putting off. And then she gave the woman, okay, madam, can you help me switch it off? And then the woman responded, I don't have time for your nonsense, you know. and all that. Comfort was actually trying to switch off the phone. The phone was already on airplane mode. The phone was already on air flight mode. Comfort never willfully refused to obey the airport instructions. No. The phone was already on airplane mode. The woman stood there insisting. Of course, you know how you feel when someone is insisting on you doing something at that moment, at that time. And then, in the midst of people, there could be a little tension and all that. Even if you know how to switch off that phone, we don't react the same way to situation. At that moment, she was tensed. At that moment, she could be tensed. And then, okay, ma, can you help me switch it off? Probably I don't understand how to switch off phone here, but look at it, it's on airplane mode.
Okay.
Comfort show that.
All right, Barrister. So, how often does she fly? From what you know, how often has Comfort used the airline? Any airline, by the way?
Of course she flies.
Okay. I wanted to establish the fact that whether or not she's familiar with operations. But let's go back to what we've seen on video. Let's go back because, some airlines will insist not flight mode, you must put off the phone. Now,
I quite agree.
Let's go back to what we've all witnessed. We've witnessed her being restrained to come down from the aircraft, probably waiting for security to come pick her up. We've witnessed her being bundled out and dehumanized in the process. We've witnessed her assault the lady by hitting us. We've witnessed her hit other people on ground who are trying to film, as well as people in the bus. So she has her own fair share of the blame here. Perhaps in anger, she also assaulted people. So she could also be charged for assault in that sense. You don't put your hands on anyone. Now that this resolution has come, she's been released from Kirikiri. As a lawyer, what is... because according to the aviation minister, he said she showed remorse. So I would like you to confirm that. Did she show remorse for her action? That's on one hand. On the other hand, what is the way forward? Are you pulling up charges against the airline for the indignity she was subjected to, or you just let the sleeping dogs lie?
Well, Comfort has been remorseful. Even when she was brought to court yesterday, her demeanor, her character and candor clearly reflect that of a sober reflection. Even when the magistrate was addressing her, with her head bent, in total obedience. So yes, Comfort has been remorseful. Comfort has been remorseful. Speaking on way forward from there, whether Comfort will allow the sleeping dogs, like she will inform us. We can't disclose that. We can't disclose that online. She's a full-grown adult. If she's going to press civil charges, of course, if she's going to press civil charges for compensation, she will let us know. And she will let us know the next step to take. But for now, we can't decide for her. She will revert back accordingly. She will revert back. She will revert back. So for now, she just needs to rest, put herself together, and then we all brainstorm.
Another important aspect of the events of August the 10th is the release of the video. You have told us that it is the part that is favorable to Ibom Air that was released to the public. But the part that is most unsettling, which is also core to this conversation, is the exposure of her the dehumanizing treatment, that saw her bosoms exposed. So can you tell us, because Ibom Air has released a statement saying that none of its staff recorded that particular video and put it out because there were so many people on ground. What can you tell us? Perhaps Comfort has an idea, and she has shared with you, of who was recording her at the point where she was being dragged out, or even from the beginning of the incident itself, besides what she recorded herself?
Comfort wouldn't know at that point, at that moment, during the struggle, why she was being dehumanized. Comfort wouldn't know who was recording. As we can see in the video, this lady was already angry. this lady was already provoked. Ibom Air denied. Nobody recorded the video. Please note, Ibom Air denied that the release of the video or the release of any nude was not done by them. Please. While everyone has disembarked from that aircraft, it was only Comfort and Ibom Air Security that were remaining in the aircraft. Who was videoing at that point? Don't forget every other passengers has alighted from the flight. Only Comfort was the only passenger remaining. At that point, who was videoing? Note where Comfort was being carried by those men. I watched another video that states they are recording now, they are recording now, they are recording now, they are recording now. Was the video done by a passenger as well? They are recording now, they are recording now. Who was recording? We can all see. Yes, at this video showing, we can all see Comfort has already been surrounded by, look at this man. Comfort had already been surrounded by this man at the airport. And then someone states in that video, I still have that video, and then someone states in that video, leave her, leave her, leave her, leave her, leave her, leave her, leave her. Someone is recording, leave her, leave her, leave her. Who was recording? At the point where Comfort was being bundled out of that flight, was he not part of the Ibom Air or Aviation Security that was recording inside the flight? At the point where Comfort's blouse was ripped off in the aircraft, one of those staffs was there recording. A passenger couldn't have come back to start recording. No. So it's not adding up. So if you watch the video of what happened when Comfort was being bundled out of that aircraft like a criminal, like a murderer, you don't even bundle a murderer that way. Because she's still, the mother suspect is still presumed innocent until proven guilty. Wouldn't Comfort have been treated otherwise if she were to be a daughter of senator or a prominent, or a prominent daughter of a well-known Nigerian?
All right.
So that statement alone sold them out. Leave her, leave her, leave her, leave her, leave her, leave her, leave her. Someone is recording. At the point when she was being bundled out in the aircraft, it couldn't have been a passenger recording. No.
All right. As we have said time and again on the program, there apparently seems to be enough blame to go around. If we also look at, this sequence of events, the conduct of Ms. Comfort Emerson herself, but resolution has now come to this particular matter, and we must thank you for coming through on this program to bring perspective to what happened prior to the treatment meted out on your client. And we must thank you very much for coming on the program. We've been talking with Barrister Adefunke Maria, the legal counsel to Ms. Comfort Emerson. Thank you for coming on the program.
Okay.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. So thank you for coming. So let's move straight, Bukola, to the next one. We're not going on break. We're sitting on this. Now, that is our lawyer. Comfort is resting. We have someone who was on that plane. I think he said he was sitting on the same row, on the other, on the part of that row. He's a lawyer, he's a legal practitioner and a passenger on that Ibom Air flight from Uyo to Lagos. David Ogebe joins us virtually. Mr. David, thank you so much for coming on the program.
Thank you. Good morning. Thank you for having me.
It's good to have you coming. I'm also excited to the fact that you're a lawyer. So we saw your statements. You released your statement, and I wish I could get to part of that statement, maybe later. But you gave your own account of exactly what played out. If I summarize that statement, you were basically saying this lady was triggered. At no point did she refuse. But I'm not going to speak for you. You were on that flight. So tell us, where were you seated, your seat number, where was she seated, and what exactly happened that things escalated to the point? Because what you're going to tell us now is what none of us is... So none of us is privy to what you're about to tell us now. We've only had a statement from the Ibom Air, and now a lawyer who was not in that plane but briefed by Comfort has spoken, but you are an eyewitness. So, Barrister, tell us what played out.
Okay, thank you. Yes, I'm a lawyer, but I'm appearing this morning, and I'd like to just stick to that. Now, I was sitting to her immediate left. So I was on the aisle seat to the left. She was on the aisle seat to the right. So my seat number was 14B. There was a gentleman to my left who was on 14A. So her own seat number should be either 14C or D. I think the window seat is 14D, while she was 14C on the aisle. So we're right next to each other, and it was a small plane. So I think the distance between us was no more than 2 feet. Yeah, so I heard everything. I saw all that transpired. And yes, she was triggered. Even though the lady, the air hostess, the second air hostess who was speaking to her, was directing all her instructions to her, just me sitting down there, I actually felt humiliated myself, just looking at the way the lady was being spoken to. To be fair, Ibom Air instructed very clearly. The first air hostess that came instructed very clearly, no airplane mode, no airplane mode, switch off your phone. After takeoff, then you can put on and put flight mode. So it was very clear. The first air hostess addressed us on the emergency exit road protocols. After she did that, she spoke to Ms. Emerson and said, please switch off your phone. She told her twice, and then this first air hostess left to continue her duties. The second air hostess, who is the one blocking exactly who is being shown now, that second air hostess now came towards us in the emergency exit and stood, even from her posture, see that she came for trouble. You know, and Ms. Emerson had been fiddling with her phone. I noticed she was trying to do some stuff, I don't know. And so she told her again, switch off your phone, switch off your phone. And Ms. Emerson said clearly to her, I heard it. She said, please, the buttons on my phone for switch off are not working. They are not working, so I don't know how to switch it off. And the woman said, no, switch off your phone. So that back and forth went on. So at a point, that's the second air hostess said, look, you're even using an iPhone. So you don't need a button to switch it off. So the lady said, okay, I don't know how to do it. Can you do it for me? And she said, I'm not touching your phone. I'm not touching your phone. Just switch it off. She said, I don't know what to do. So the lady now said, okay, go to settings. And when you go to settings, go to general. So the girl was holding and said, see, please, I can't understand what you're saying. I can't read. I don't know what you're saying. You're saying where I should go to. The woman, the second air hostess now told her, I don't have time for your nonsense. Please just switch it off. She said, I don't, okay. Mr. Martin now asked, can you spell the general? So the air hostess started actually saying G, okay, G, then E. So that was the point that the gentleman on my left and I said, come on, what's going on? You know, calm, don't speak to her like this. Let's, you know, the second air hostess did not even acknowledge her. She didn't even look to my side to even see that someone was speaking. So at that point, I asked the gentleman to her right. I said, please, can you just help this lady? You know, I don't use an iPhone. I've never used an iPhone, so I'm not too familiar with settings and all of that. So the gentleman to her right now took the phone and started trying to sort it out. So when that was going on, Ms. Emerson started talking to the second air hostess. I said, why are you embarrassing her like this? Why? I mean, why are you? And then the air hostess told her, you better keep quiet now. If you say another word, I will deal with you. That was when Ms. Emerson flared up and started cursing. I cannot say the things that she was actually saying because the language was very flowery and X-rated, I can't say. So that was when this second air hostess said, okay, you will see. And then she left and went towards the front of the airplane. She never came back. At least I don't recollect her coming back through the aisle throughout the flight. So that is exactly what transpired. So after that happened, the gentleman to the right switched off the phone or whatever it was he did. And a couple of passengers tried to say, switch off your phone, don't risk our lives, blah, blah, blah. And then we told them, no, that's not what happened. She never said she wasn't going to switch off her phone. She was trying to switch off her phone. She said she had issues switching it off. And so the passengers calmed down and we took off. So that is what happened. But it was clear, at least to us on the emergency exit row, it was clear that there was a problem here. She needed to be handled very well. Because this lady kept simmering throughout the flight. She was cursing. I could hear her because I was right next to her. She was really upset. She felt as if these people are just against me. And why? She said she bought this ticket with her own money. So why should they treat her like this? That's what she was saying, and that's what I'm hearing. And I can't tell you what the other thing she was saying because they were really nasty. But she wasn't directing to anyone, but she was just talking. So it was clear that she was angry. And the second air hostess, the aggressor, kept checking, kept peeping to see how things are going at our end throughout the flight. I noticed it. So the passenger by my side, as we're approaching landing, we're like, God help us, so let's get out of this plane before anything happened. And we were saying it in jest, but we also knew that something was off. We're so worried that I discussed with him. I said, okay, when they were telling us to stow away and put everything ready for landing, the lady didn't even hear any of that. I told her, I said, we're landing, switch off your phone, put it away. Then the second air hostess, the first air hostess, the very polite and amiable and professional one came, helped her to stow away, helped her take her purse, put it in the cabin on top, and was very professional. So all of that happened, and then the plane landed. Once the plane landed, the first air hostess, the professional one, came to the front and started disembarking by room. Just before it came to our turn, Ms. Emerson left and went back. And I presume she went to the toilet. I used the toilet myself, and I noticed that the only apartment at the back is the toilet. There isn't even an apartment, cabin crew and all of that like regular thing. This one is just the toilet. That's the only. So that's why I presume she went to the toilet. So when it got to our turn to disembark, those of us on our road disembarked and we went out and totally forgot about the hooks part until the videos and all came. So that's what happened. This is what I heard. This is what I know happened. Issue of airplane mode. That didn't come up, at least I didn't.
So, Mr. Ogebe, first of all, if I heard you correctly, you said Ms. Emerson said she couldn't read. She was even asking that general be spelt.
Oh, yes. That is what happened. So whether she meant that she couldn't see properly or she couldn't read as in wasn't literate, I don't know. But that's what she said. And the second L started spelling. Okay, G, okay, E. That's what happened.
Okay, but because in subsequent interactions, she didn't sound like somebody who wasn't educated. So I just wanted to put that out, for a clarity, if we can get clarity from that. But talk to us about, you're a lawyer. I don't know if aviation law is your specialty, but talk to us about the appropriateness of the handling of the situation, how it could have been done properly without it resulting in the altercation between Ms. Emerson and the Ibom Air staff. How should they have handled it if they were going to read her the implications of what had happened and how it could have been better managed, so to speak? Because other aspects to this conversation are to the effect that even in international flights, once phones are either switched off or put on flight mode during takeoff and landing, phones are often used, with the internet connectivity provided by the airline. So I'd like you to speak to that.
I'd like to point out again that I appeared this morning as a witness, so I wouldn't want to go into argument. However, what I can say very clearly is, even if can use your phone on international flights, you have come into a domestic airline, and if they have said this is our policy, switch off your phone for takeoff, obey. When you go on your international airline and they allow you to use your phone, then very simple. How long will it take? And I noticed that a lot of times this issue crops up domestic airline. So let's just obey. Simple. It's not very difficult. Now, as a human being, as a citizen, talking about how she was handled being taken flight. And a little bit of humility and humaneness. You know, the woman felt she was being attacked, she was being singled out, and you know, just an apology and all whatnot, try to calm her down would have helped. I still insist that if this whole issue about switching off the phone had been handled by the first air hostess, this would not have come up at all. Now, moving forward, the actions of Ms. Emerson, her reaction was not commensurate to the issues at hand. Completely not commensurate. Let's be honest and let's be frank. She was extremely violent. She was extremely violent. So I agree with her lawyer that if they had female officers, the female officers should have come in. When they tried to placate her, when they tried to talk to her, and she still wasn't listening and was becoming violent, then female security officers would have had to come in. But we have to state the fact that her reaction was very poor. And you can't, I mean, even if they blocked her and said, we're blocking you because we're going to arrest you. Okay, let them come and arrest you. And then the story, not to start fighting. I mean, I don't have to be a lawyer to say that. It's just common decency.
All right, Mr. David, before I let you go, first we must appreciate you. Because this is perhaps the first time, maybe on television, because I heard your conversation on radio before I reached out. We're hearing what happened inside the aircraft, because everybody was reacting to, perhaps the Honorable Minister as well, based on the brief he got, was what everyone else saw on video and all of that. But now you brought perspective as not just that you were in the flight, but you were sitting quite at a distance that you clearly saw what was playing out as far as this is concerned. So first of all, we must thank you. But I'm asking, why do you see the need to come out and put up this make this presentation for this girl? And what do you think we can learn from all of this?
Okay, thank you. It took me a lot to actually come out for various other personal reasons going around my life right now. But I felt the need to speak up because there was only one narrative being given out there, that this was a regular, indisciplined Nigerian was refusing to obey simple instructions. That was the narrative, and the whole social media and everywhere was really fell apart. So I felt it was important to bring this narrative so they know that it wasn't a question of indiscipline. Secondly, I thought it was important that Ibom hears about how one of their air hostesses acted, so that they can learn. That lady needs some training, and I also thought it was important that Ibom hears about the very first air hostess, who was very professional. They even need to give that girl an award. I think she was excellent. And so that lady did so well, but the second lady did very badly. And so everyone learns from the situation. So you don't have to escalate the issue. And it's not, this ego, because that's what it was. The second air hostess, the aggressor, felt, who is this girl to, talk to me or do whatever? And then she wanted to show that she had power. That is what led to this, So I thought it was important to bring this out.
Mr. David, we can't thank you enough for the clarity with which you've explained the situation, identifying all the dramatics personnel, and you were very fair that there were wrongs on all sides, but you needed to put this in perspective so that the narrative will be complete. At least we have this now. We had a lawyer. The only person remaining is herself. But thank you so much, David Ogede, lawyer, legal practitioner, and someone who was on that airline, that's August the 10th, Ibom, that brought up all of the saga that we're now witnessing today. Thank you, sir. We appreciate you, sir.
Thank you for having me.
Okay, we'll take a quick break. When we come back, we'll switch gears from the issues around the aviation and the comfort and Kwam1. Maybe our guest will just give his own 2 cents on it, but we want to talk politics when we come back. The by-election is coming up on Saturday. 2 senatorial seats, 1 in Anambra, 1 in Edo, 5 House of Representatives, I think about 9 states constituencies. We'll talk about that in just a moment. Stay with us.
Welcome back. And so this time around, we'll be having an expanded conversation of all of the matters from the Kwam 1 and Kwam 2 saga to matters of the by-election coming up on Saturday. And of course, we'll also dovetail into politics. So joining us on this particular segment is Honorable Dachong Bagos, former Federal House of Reps member from Plateau State. Honorable Bagos, good morning and thank you for joining us on the program.
Good morning. Good morning, Nigeria. So you pronounce the name as if you're a Ibom person from Plateau. Well done. I think you're among the first people that got my name very well.
Oh, thank you very much. So I'll be visiting Plateau very soon to get a proper reward for pronouncing your name correctly.
Absolutely.
All right, sir. So let's start off. We've spent time and, rightly so, reflecting on matters of aviation security following the Kwam 1 incident and of that of Ms. Comfort Emerson, because there are so many implications to it. But specifically, we'd like to focus on federal government's intervention seen in the dropping of charges for Comfort Emerson, the discontinuing of the case for Kwam 1. But of course, we know that that he's also been made an aviation protocol ambassador. How does this look for aviation regulatory integrity, not just for domestic matters, but also before the international community as it borders on perception?
Yeah, well, fortunately and unfortunately, when it comes to issues of justice, when it comes to issues that have to do with doing the right thing in Nigeria, is just like tales and riddles at the same time. Because here are a scenario of issues that have happened and that has really disturbed Nigerians, and disturbed Nigerians in the sense that where is the rule of law? And I have always said that, look, one of our major problems in this country is adhering to the rule of law. And again, at the same time, these are two scenarios that are perception of Nigerians, which is very key. This is not an issue of propaganda, but this is an issue of perception. And perception of over 220 million people. So I expect that the federal government could have looked into this issue very well, looking at the perception, looking at the narrative that Nigerians have put out there, and understanding what truly has happened. And let me start with Kwam 1, that you stopped him from entering the plane because of what he is holding in a flask. The first question is, how did he get through the security down to the tarmac? That was where you stopped him. So even the security agencies, and from the screening point, that should be where heads should start rolling. Because what if it were a liquid bomb that he was holding, and he now dropped it on at the middle of the tarmac or at the plane there? So first of all, start from the first step where these things went wrong. What happened? How did he pass the screening, the TSA? How did he pass with that flags without you knowing the content, but you are now querying the content at when he is entering the plane? Because it is expected that anyone that is at the foot of an aircraft has already been screened. That person should be able to have his flight. So that is my own issue with the aviation industry. That is my own issue with the airport authorities. how did that flags pass without knowing the true content of it? And with all the drama, now he is an ambassador, meaning everybody will now start moving with the flags, go to the do drama to become an ambassador. Whatsoever level you want to describe the ambassadorship because of behavior or whatever, I saw the explanation, but the perception of Nigerians, that is entirely wrong. And going to Kwamtu as well, with what happened and with all the eyewitness and what has happened at the end of the day and so on, all the drama, at the end of the day, she is again an ambassador. And still, this is a worldwide phenomenon that I still don't know how many people really understand the meaning of putting your phone on, or the difference of putting your phone on flight mode or offing your phone when the aircraft will take off. I can tell you, survey has shown that 70% of passengers, of air passengers, don't even know why they need to off their phones, and at the same time why they need to put their phones on flight mode. The difference, there are quite two difference between putting your phone on flight mode and even offing your phone when the aircraft is taking off. This is a worldwide problem. So meaning that sensitization needs to come into place, even for the federal government and by the aviation industry. And again, getting your boarding pass, what were those terms that every passenger signed? What is the right of the passenger, and what is the right of the pilot, and what is the right of the air hostess? Every boarding pass is not just a boarding pass, but my boarding pass is an agreement of me entering an aircraft. So what are those terms of agreement on my body? Many Nigerians don't know. So sensitization needs to come into place. So we shouldn't be a country that we should wait when a wrong has taken place and we start moving left, right, center, doing this and doing that. No, but the major issue before it happened, did federal government did the right part? Did the aviation industry took the necessary steps? What were those terms and what was the agreement between the passenger and the airline? The passenger, what are those interpersonal relationship between the air hostess or the air crew and the passengers? These are issues that we should be able to know. These are issues that passengers should be able to know their terms of agreement with their own, with every air carrier. So waiting for this to happen, the negative perception is there. And at the end of the day, this person is now an ambassador, meaning everybody will start misbehaving in an aircraft, and so that you will be an ambassador at the end of the day, and whatsoever level you want to be an ambassador. If because of the breaching the agreement, this person is not an ambassador, so which means I'm waiting to see Yahoo boys that are being arrested by EFCC to be ambassadors. I'm waiting to see all the people that are being in prison or waiting for being an ambassador. I'm waiting to see the people that are killing my people in villages on the Plateau, which means to be an ambassador, because I've not even seen any form of justice. So this is the problem that we have in the center as a people in this country. That look, what does the justice, what does the law says when you contravene this act? Not that because ethnic sentiments, because this person is like this, because no, what does the law says on some certain issues? So that is my own take on some on what has happened at the end of the day. So federal government needs to go back to the drawing board to look, how can we sensitize Nigerians to know the difference between offing your phones and again putting it on flight mode? What kind of content do you need to take from to get through the screening points at every check at the airport? So these are issues. So federal government needs to go and check back where it did wrong, not coming to tell us that this person is wrong. You have you have put out the perception for justice at the end of the day, and now you have turned the justice again to be a reward. So the two sides of the coin does not add up at all.
All right, Honorable Dachon, I think you said as much as possible, looking at all sides. So if we leave the aviation matter, because it's going to be an ongoing conversation, I can guarantee you that people are going to keep talking as far as this is concerned, because of how things played out and the difference in treatment. So it may never end for the nearest future. But let's move on to politics. By-elections are up for August the 16th, which is 2 days from now, 48 hours. 2 senatorial seats, House of Representatives, we have, I think, about 5. And then we have about 9 state constituencies. But let's talk about the National Assembly, a place you're super familiar with. You were in the 9th Assembly. And right now, we see that politically, APC is doing well than any other political party. Your party, the PDP, we're not sure what is going on there. The Labour Party, we can't explain what is going on.
Well, it depends on what you mean by APC is doing well.
No, I'm saying APC is doing well politically. I contextualize it politically. What I mean by that is they are compared to other parties, they are a bit more stable. Perhaps it's because they're in power.
Well, I wouldn't say politically, but I say APC is doing well in maneuvering to get success, not that politically, because when we talk of politics, politics is all about democracy, politics is all about the people, and politics is all about the people having their way. So if the way it looks like now, that Nigeria is moving, the perception is to make Nigeria a one-party state. I don't see where APC is doing well. And when you look at the numbers, and you look at the economy, and you look at also politically, even politically, I would say APC is doing well, but trying to make Nigeria to be a one-party state.
Okay. So let's build on that to my question. And I pray that the PDP, the Labour Party, and now the ADC put their acts together. Let's even assume that the APC is working on destabilizing the party so that only Bola Tinubu may be a presidential candidate. Now you guys have to now put yourself together and ensure that doesn't happen, because it's not healthy for democracy. But where I'm going to with my question is to the effect that if you look at the Senate, for instance, they are inching closer to a 2/3 majority. What that implication, you understand the implication of that? They're already being called rubber stamp assembly, the Senate and the House of Representatives, given what has played out since they came into power. Now, if they have a 2/3 majority, they will have a lot of things going for them. What do you make of this election and how it will affect legislation and oversight?
Yeah, well, truly, with what is happening, Geoffrey, looking at the difference, being political and being economical, and looking at the perception of what is on ground and the true nature of what Nigerians are feeling at the moment, if you go to the streets of most of these constituencies, you will very well hear from Nigerians that, look, we are tired. We really and truly need a change. But again, with the political manipulation and maneuvering, whatsoever the APC administration wants to do to ensure that they deliver, we will see it at the end of the day. It's unfortunate that this is, yes, an off-season thing, and all the security apparatus will be sent to most of these constituencies to see that, look, they deliver, because that's usually the language of incumbency, that, look, go and deliver. So in delivering again, this is where you have issues that, look, will the law be adhered to? What is all the agencies be it INEC, be it even the media, to really showcase the true nature of every election at the end of the day. But for me, the true election that will truly take place is what is happening in Nigeria at the moment, the economic situation, and how we are faring as a people. If truly the APC will follow what is on ground that Nigerians are feeling, I can tell you APC will not get any of these constituencies. But then at the end of the day, let's wait and see what the elections say. But I'm so optimistic that Nigerians will speak in these various elections, not party, because what is happening now, this will be like a test to the 2027 election, because 2027 election, I can tell you, will be tougher than 2015 elections. It's no longer going to be about religion, because 2023 was basically about religion. But 2027 will definitely be about the economy of this country, about the insecurity in this country, and about how Nigerians are faring at the moment. So these by-elections in different constituencies will be about Nigerians. And I pray that that the APC administration will truly give Nigerians that sense of democracy, that sense of belonging, to allow Nigerians really vote and to shake hands to the winners across party. So that is what we are hoping for. But looking at what is happening to make Nigeria a one-party state, I expect that even the president should be able to come out clearly and say, look, let Nigerians have their voice.
But if we were to go by your submission that Nigerians want to change and clearly things are not, coming through as expected, in line with the promises of this administration when it was campaigning for election, the same could also be said for your party when it was in office. There were allegations of, massive corruption under the watch of the former government, and besides there were security concerns as well. So I'd like you to speak to that and the concern about, PDP's organizational capacity in the light of the circumstances and conflict management. So if we were to measure leadership, some would say that the PDP comes down with a failure.
Yeah, well, if you ask Nigerians today, the reason why the coalition in 2015 that removed the PDP from power, if you ask Nigerians today, you will know that, look, Nigerians will even prefer to go back to 2015 than what we are now. The APC won election on the basis of they want to fight corruption, but between 2015 and now, I can tell you that the indices are worsened than even 2015. That corruption is at a high level and at the peak of it within the APC administration from 2015 till now. Well, we are waiting to see how this administration will end as well. And looking at the PDP, you well know that the problem of the PDP is not even internal. It has been instigated externally to be a selfish desire, to be a selfish drive against even the PDP internal mechanism that has worked against the leaders of the PDP. But we have clearly told the leaders of the PDP that, look, we really need to give Nigerians a fresh face. We need to bring in inject new, younger generation into the political space of the PDP so that Nigerians will believe in the system and to carry out what truly would. So, but whenever we are hearing and talking is about what this person have done and what this person have done, it is not about even what the constitution of the party stands for. So these are issues when you look at everything have been personalized. But with the younger generation, we are saying that, look, give us a chance to be able to fix the party and to be able to see that, look, we get this thing right and give Nigerians the dividends and the true dividends of democracy, because the ideology of the party is what we stand for, not to personalize issues on what this person have selfishly done against you. So Nigerians are really waiting and looking up for us to make and to put up a difference. So the issue of what the PDP was in 2015 and what the APC is now, the difference is clear. Go to the streets of Nigeria and you will definitely hear from Nigerians. Yes, Nigerians are yearning for a change at different level, and that is what even within the PDP, we are telling our leaders and members of the PDP that, look, with what we are hearing on the streets of our various states, and 2027 will be more than 2023, that it's no longer going to be about political party, but it's going to be about candidates. It's going to be about credibility. So if the PDP will look at to bring in candidates that Nigerians truly can trust, I can tell you, we will make it right. But the issue of incumbency, the issue of power drive will no longer work in Nigerian politics. It's going to be the issue of Nigerians and Nigerians alone. It's going to be the issue of the economy. It's going to be the issue of the future of this country. And that is what the youths of this country are truly and all around articulating, and to be able to bring a focus to where. So the PDP, we are really looking at, look, let's be able to cash into the desire and the yearnings of Nigerians, and especially the younger generation. That is our desire, that is our hope. But the issue of incumbency, the issue of religion, just like it worked in 2023, will no longer be on the front burner in 2027. So, and I expect, and that is what will happen in this by-election, the issue of religion will no longer work in this by-election. You can see the rally, the grand finale of the rally in different places, and especially in Ogun yesterday of the PDP. You can see the yearning where Nigerians really want different candidates that are genuine to be able to fill in these positions. That is the desire.
All right, Honorable Datong, so let's look at two quick elections that will be coming up. This senatorial, at least there are two senatorial seats, one in Edo State. That state is Edo Central, I think, where the governor, who is now the governor, had to resign. So you can see that they will do all they can to make sure they retain that seat. You know how this game is played. If you go to Anambra, later find you, but I was a member of the YPP, but the state is being governed by ABGA. The ABGA governor, or the Anambra State governor, Professor Chukwuma Soludo, has a close relationship with the president. However, as well, the seat was occupied last by the APC because he left the YPP to join the APC before its unfortunate passing. Senator Fanyuba. So when you look at all of this, in fact, in that election, the governorship election, nobody actually wanted to buy the ticket of the PDP. I think only one person eventually bought, and that's the person standing in the election. When you look at this and all that is playing out, besides Nigerians saying, no, we may not want the APC or otherwise, do you think the PDP is really ready for any election?
Yeah, the major problem in the PDP and the issues that we have in the PDP have been resolved in the last NEC. The issue of Anyawu and Co. and so on and so forth, that was resolved. So the PDP is united to truly work through these by-elections, that I can assure you. You cannot hear and you have not heard of any rancor approaching this by-election. So the PDP is very ready. And you know, the Southeast is a very interesting region in this country that they say their mind during elections. So imagine the YPP of the late Andy Uba, may his soul rest in, continue to rest in peace, winning an election in a state that the governor is ABGA and different positions at different levels, though some are labor at either different constituencies and so on and so forth. So the Southeast is a very interesting region that they are very enlightened and know what truly they want. So if you want to take money to the Southeast so that you can play election, they will tell you, well, whatever money you are bringing, we already have that kind of money. So what they truly want is genuinity, integrity, and the person that they can trust. So which I can tell you that the PDP has been able to bring out those candidates at various levels, and you will see what will happen during the by-elections. But at the end of the day, it's going to be very difficult for the APC, especially in Anambra. The election definitely is going to be between the PDP and the ruling party in the state at the end of the day. So the Southeast are enlightened. We know what they are saying. We know what is on ground on the South in the Southeast states. That truly They believe in the ideology of our party, and at the same time, they still believe in the integrity of the candidates that PDP has been able to put out in. But again, the people will speak on election day.
All right. Just before we wind down, as we wind down now, very quickly, I'd like you to speak to the killings. You mentioned your people earlier on, the killings of your people in Plateau State. It appears as if it's continuing from reports even in the last couple of days in Bokos local government, I believe. And then the management of the humanitarian situation. The wife of the president did donate about 500 million naira last year and another 1 billion naira this year. Yet the Bureau Association is talking about huge humanitarian situation and hunger in IDP camps. How is your government, your PDP government in Plateau State, managing both situations?
Absolutely. The governor is doing well to manage the situation on the plateau, and he has done his best. He has deployed all the available resources within his reach to be able to do what he needs to do. But the challenge that we have, it's the collaboration of, especially if you see the charge of the governor when he visited Rio, how he have to challenge the STF within the domain, because the last killings that took place in Rio, the distance between the community and the sector, is it the sector 605 command, is just within a few kilometers. But if there is a gunshot of 10 kilometers or thereabout, you'll be able to hear that there are gunshots, gun is being fired in a certain distance. But this is a community that between the sector command and the community that was the killings took place for over 2 hours, no intervention from the security agencies. That is a red flag for us as a people. So for the governor, we so much believe, and again, we have seen what he has been able to do so far, but for the security agencies to execute what needs to be done to intervene in these killings is our major problem. That today confidence have been, the plateau people and even the villages, whenever they see security agencies in uniform, they start running because they have lost confidence in some of them. Because why? So these are issues that the collaboration between the security agencies and the state government really needs to come into play, especially the military. The killing of our people.
Honorable Bagos, we must anchor at this point. Of course, there are so many implications to this, particularly with the humanitarian situation as well. But we must thank you very much for coming through on the program. We've been talking with Honorable
we'll have more time to talk about that.
Former member House of Representatives. Pardon me, sir, we're totally out of time for this one. We'll definitely have you back on the program. Thank you so much for coming through on this one.
Thank you.
There's more to come on the show. This time we'll be exploring the modus operandi, if you like, of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission in continuing raids of the hospitality sector. We have someone coming through to share their experience. So stay with us, we'll be right back.
So let's bring in Mr. Felix Duke, who understand his facility was raided. Let him just give us a background. Felix Duke is a veteran musician. He joins us virtually. Mr. Duke, thank you so much for coming on the program.
Thank you for having me. Good morning.
Good morning. Good to see you, Hale and Artie. And I'm sure the Gen Zs will be trying to figure out who is Felix Duke. But that's not the conversation for today. But let's get straight to why you're here. Bring us up to speed as to what is getting you agitated as far as the activities of the anti-graft agency, and from what you see and what you know from your own narrative.
Thank you so very much. On the 1st of August, we're not expecting the EFCC They came to my hotel uninvited and started breaking from one door to the other in the hotel and saying they were looking for me. And when they couldn't find me, they made an attempt to adopt my wife. I should use the word kidnapped. One, the reason why they say they came was a case I had with one retired military, U.S. Retired military officer who bought a land from me and refused to pay me the full money, and he wanted me to give him the land. And I said, no, you have to pay me. But he has paid part of the money, was still owing me about 8 million. Now, when he I didn't map out the land for him. Him and his lawyer and some group of men, about 4 of them, invited me to the land. And I believe their intention was to kill me to take my land. And they pushed me inside the swamp. Thank God my surveyor went with me, and my wife was in the car. And my surveyor pulled me out because they pushed me and walked away and left me there. I couldn't come out. So my surveyor pulled me out, and I went straight to Aja police station with my body. And the Aja police station swung into action, went to the crime scene and took pictures and videos and invited all of them with the lawyer, because the lawyer is the one the guy that bought the land from me is using. And he's the guy that bought the land sponsored terrorism. Kidnapping and what is it called? Land grabbing. So the case has been on. They now went to Mevatin anti-fraud to go and write that I defrauded them. And the police investigated, find that I did not defraud them. The transaction was still ongoing. And they asked him to pay me my money. He left Mevatin because I have all the proof. I have all the letters. So, and he ran to Alagbon and got paid because he's been looking for a law enforcement agency that would do his dirty job. He's ready to give them any amount, just like what the EFCC have done. He ran to Alagbon.
Mr. Duke, are you saying that the raid on your facility had nothing to do with the concern about cybercrime being perpetrated by hotel guests, but with a civil dispute that you had with a retired military officer, and the EFCC was acting on behalf of this retired military officer?
Exactly. Yes, that's what is happening. They never came to my hotel for any fraudulent or internet fraudulent reason. They came because of a civil case that I had with that guy. Okay. And the same EFCC has investigated this matter last year, and they never found me guilty.
Okay, Mr. Felix Duke, my apologies. We wish we had more time for this conversation, because you've raised serious allegations. We'll reach out to the EFCC as well to hear their side of the story, whether they had a warrant of arrest, because if they are coming to your facility, of course, they'll be sent appropriately to come and do their work. No one wants to believe that they'll come and illegally invade your space, but these are allegations you've raised. They will also be able to respond. So we just want to say this in the realm of allegation as alleged by you. We'll also try and get the military officer. We apologize that we may not have all the time to explore the issue, but we needed to bring it up to speed to the public as to what your agitations are really all about. Thank you, sir. Maybe we'll touch base with you some other time.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
All right. That's it. So on the program, I don't know whether we have a conclusion of our question of the day. But if we don't have it today, we're going to bring you up to. So we did ask the federal government's intervention whether or not is sending the right or the wrong signal. But I understand directors and producers are telling us we don't have that time. We'll bring that results to you tomorrow, hopefully. But thank you so much for your time and company. Sunrise Daily is up next. I'm Jeffrey Uzama. Bye-bye.
We'll be back again tomorrow. I am Bukola Kilka. Bye for now.